Hey, and welcome back to Talk a Better Worlds. I'm SirFelixTheCat, and this is Nerd Talk Thursday, a show where we normally take something that we're nerdy about and talk about it a bit. But for today's topic, I can't really say that I'm nerdy about it, or really even like it much. It'd be fair to say that I hate this topic. Today, I want to talk a little bit about some of the toxicity in the world. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen it or heard it before, where people just start to jump on the hate train and start to rip an IP apart. But why is that? What does it say about the IP, and how does it affect it? Well, today I'm really hoping that I can answer some of those questions and hopefully help us all just better understand it in general. So, let's talk about hating the hate. So, without further ado, let's grab some chill pills and let's get into it. Hate, as a noun, is defined as an intense or passionate dislike. It is an emotion that is often accompanied by malice. Hating is something we all do. Like previously mentioned, I hate the constant hate that we see in the world. I also hate games with microtransactions, single-player games with always online requirements, war unless it's purely fictional, and I hate racism, which is just a category of hate on its own. That being said, take this conversation how you will. One thing that really grinds my gears is when I jump online to see hundreds of videos and message boards with X thing is factually trash, and here is why. Just for the meat and potatoes to just be some pretty dumb opinion-based drivel. People put their opinions out as fact, and that in itself is problematic. But often, that drivel morphs into two things. One, a sensationalistic bandwagon of hate where everyone joins in even when the majority didn't participate with the subject of their hate. A good portion of this is internet trolls, but they are a separate issue. But this is known as the hate train. And number two, harassment and bullying. This is something we're going to be coming back to later on in this video. Now, with number one, I am not saying you always need to participate with something to have an opinion, or that you shouldn't have an opinion at all. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. I never played Barbie video games, but in my opinion, they are not games for me. But what is it that made everyone feel the need to trash on whatever it is they say they don't like? Sadly, I think that comes down to social media. Before the days of social media and the internet as we know it now, we were limited to newspapers, letters, and shouting from soapboxes. And I guess in a way, back then, we were kinda let known that our opinions don't really matter. The vocal abilities granted to us today have done some good in relation to having a place to open up. But it's also opened the door for more hate and a hype for hating. We can now sit and bash something to our heart's content. I mean, it seems to have become just human nature. We can convince others that they should hate it too, because if you don't, you aren't part of the crowd. It's like high school never ended. I could be totally off base here, but like I mentioned earlier, if you read most people's complaints, they are baseless and just come off as attention-seeking. Sometimes they succeed in their goals, and a title doesn't sell much. Like take Anthem for example. Most people never played the game, but yet they bashed it. But if you ask anybody who actually did play it, the gameplay was insanely fun. A short campaign, so the story kinda lacked there, but it had a very fun gameplay loop. The Hatetrain effectively killed it, and now we have no new support for the title. And yeah, that's excluding EA's involvement in it, because they did just not try with it after it didn't sell 1 billion copies in the first day. Other times, it doesn't affect the title in the least, like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the best-selling Pokemon games to date. That is mostly due to this being a long-running IP, and the biggest IP in the world. Anthem was by a big studio, but it was a new IP. It never really got a chance, just being stomped out in its infancy. I would include Starfield in this, but it didn't have unanimous hate. It was pretty much evenly split if you really look at both sides. Now, let's get into the part of this topic with the bigger impact. My number 2 from earlier. Harassment and bullying. I don't stand for bullying. This is a part that disgusts me, and is half the reason I don't play many online games. I don't want to be around negative people, so I just avoid it. There is a severe lack of honor and respect for others and oneself. And these honorless people take to bullying and harassing anyone who doesn't agree with them. People forget that who they are talking to is a person as well, and they deserve respect too. To belittle someone for having an interest that doesn't match yours is pretty ignorant. Just look at people in US politics that don't agree with each other. They look like a bunch of squabbling children, but with the Benjamin Button disease. It's embarrassing to watch, and should be embarrassing for those who are doing it. We have people who, in public, assault another because they like a different sports team. It's just wrong. The way these people act is how the villains act in a story. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but being the villain shouldn't be a life goal. Some people who have been targets of this harassment and bullying have ended their own existences. And that isn't a state of mind anyone should ever be put in. So, that leaves us with, how do we fix this? And that's a tall ask. I can't find the article on Google, but a while back, there was a game developer, or someone who's in the field of game development, who told people they should be kind to each other online, and he was ridiculed for it. People instantly showed that they are absolutely incapable of not being trashy. The urge to attack overtook the lessons people apparently failed to learn from Bambi. We all need more compassion and consideration for others. We need to see that we are all humans. We all have emotions, and we should all work together. Together, we are stronger and better. Don't be the weakest link in society and create division. If you don't like something, maybe try just not talking about it, or simply say, I don't like this thing, and move on. Focus on what you do like. Be positive. Be like the heroes in our comics and less like the villains. Last thing I want to say is, if you are someone who is being bullied or harassed and feels like they should end their own existence, please talk to someone, whether it be family, a friend, a teacher, a doctor, or a counselor. There are people who want to help and will be there for you. It's nothing to be ashamed of and shows you are a stronger person for seeking help. If you think you have no one, we have numbers that you can call down below in the description. So, I'm sorry this went to such a dark place this week, but we felt this is something that needed to be addressed. So, we thank you for watching, or just listening. Until next time, take care. Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.